Welcome to Virtual Field Trip 2002. Today is such an unusual day for all of us. Little did we know that Surabaya is the second largest city in Indonesia, and that also makes Surabaya as one of the most historical cities as well. Today's field trip is in situs Peneleh or Peneleh site and hosts Tjokroaminoto Museum. You may have wondered what makes these two places unique and worth the visit. Well, let's not wait any longer. The site we are visiting today is called Lodge, Lodge. In dictionary, lodge is closest in meaning to a small, makeshift or crude shelter or habitation, as of boughs, poles, skins, earth or raft boards, cabin or hut. A house used as a temporary residence, as in the hunting season, a summer cottage, a house or cottage, as in a park or an estate, occupied by a gatekeeper, a caretaker, gardener, or other employee. This lodge in Surabaya was initially built in 1907 during the Dutch colonialism. Mr. Kunjarsono Prasetyo is a historian and the current landlord of the house, after being passed by one generation to generations in the last decade. Not only a historian, he is also an activist in his community. Let us show you a house that is over 100 years. Right there. Peneleh village is located in Peneleh Street area in Surabaya. Peneleh village is the oldest village in Kota Pahlawan. It is also the oldest village along Brantas River. The book Ode Surabaya, published in 1931, identified Peneleh as the oldest village in Surabaya because one of its characteristics where it is located on the coast of Brantas at that time. Brantas became the center of the public transportation. One of the characteristics of this ancient village in Surabaya is the existence of a tomb in the middle of a residential area. It is believed and said that in the past, every resident in Peneleh village had a family grave located in this house area. So that when Peneleh is now a densely populated residential area, the tombs are among their homes. The existence of these tombs still exists today. Even when passing through Peneleh 11 alley, you will find a family grave that crosses the middle of the village road. Some of the tombs also have the names of the scholars who used to live in Peneleh village. Several famous people who lived in Dutch colonialism were buried in this area. One of them was Dutch General Peter Marcus. He was the only Dutchman to bury in the Surabaya. The next one over there is the graves of Ursuline nurses. They were working and serving in Indonesia for over 100 years and funded by Santa Maria Institute. A Dutch priest was also buried here. His name was Van den Elsen. Not only that, a relic of the Dutch era is the Dutch cemetery Peneleh, which was founded in 1814. This tomb is considered the oldest modern cemetery in the world. In addition, there are also old tombs that are sacred to residents in Peneleh village. This tomb is thought to date from the time when Islam first entered Java. Before the Dutch came, there is a known story in the rest of still a mystery. A number of these tombs include the tombs of Nyai great-grandfather Champa, great-grandfather Minggir, great-grandfather Dewa, great-grandfather Malang, and great-grandfather Bening. The top and famous bridges in Surabaya are Peneleh Bridge, Jembatan Merah Surabaya or Surabaya Red Bridge, and Gubeng Bridge. One of the reasons this place is crowned as cultural heritage is the Pelat Emas or gold sign, and built in 19th century. This bridge was the place where Battle of Surabaya involving the youths and Dutch took place. One of the bridge handrail was damaged due to the bullet crash. The bookstore in Jalan Peneleh, which was also famous during that time, in Gang 7, number 22, is the oldest bookstore in Surabaya. It was built in the 1980s, and the shop is about 10 meters across from the house of Haji Omar Said or HOS Tjokroaminoto. When you get into the store, you can still find the original furniture and ornaments from the classic colonial style building. This bookstore sells books about Islamic law and the history of the nation. Interestingly, Peneleh bookstore is the favorite bookstore of the first president of the Republic Indonesia, Insinyur Soekarno. Because long before becoming a president, Soekarno had been living in Tjokroaminoto's boarding house. There, Bung Karno learned a lot about nationalism and Islamic movement. As a proof that Bung Karno had visited, at the top of the wall was a photo of Insinyur Soekarno visiting the Peneleh bookstore on December 18, 1956. The Peneleh bookstore was owned by Abdul Latif Zain, one of the people behind the development of Islamic movement called Muhammadiyah. Some people might think that Soekarno, our first president of Republic Indonesia, was born in Blitar, East Java. However, the house of Soekarno, where he was born, is here in Surabaya. About a century ago, Kusno, Soekarno's nickname, was born in Pandean Peneleh, LE4 number 40, Surabaya, a village with a small valley in the center of Surabaya. Soekarno's father, Raden Sukemi Sosrodihardjo, was transferred from Singaraja, Bali as a teacher at Sulung People's School in Surabaya in 19th century. Sukemi came to Surabaya with his wife, Ida Ayu Nyoman Rai Srimben, who was pregnant with Soekarno. They went to Surabaya by boat. At that time, the ship they were on docked at Kalimas, not far away from this house. Soekarno himself was born on June 1901. Let's talk about HOS Tjokroaminoto's housing. The residence of HOS Tjokroaminoto was inaugurated on 27 November 2017 as a museum of Surabaya city government, as well as a historical tourist destination by the mayor of Surabaya, Tri Risma Harini. Located on Jalan Peneleh, LE7 Surabaya, the house was not only used by national hero HOS Tjokroaminoto and his family as a place to live, but also as a place where movement figures from various ideological backgrounds such as Samoan, Alimin, Darsono, and Tan Malaka met and dialogue. HOS Tjokroaminoto Museum has 143 collections related to HOS Tjokroaminoto's residence. At that time, Tjokroaminoto was a highly respected figure. Every day, there were important guests who came and talked about the future of Indonesia. Soekarno often joined the meetings. People who live and often come to Tjokroaminoto's house including Tan Malaka, Kortosuwiryo, Musso, Semaun, Alimin, and so many others. In the future, they become figures who hold fast to their respective views in advancing the Indonesian people. Next one is the village of Peneleh, where it was originally born and formed. This village is even said to be a witness to the journey of Surabaya and Indonesia, especially facing the changing times. The name Peneleh originates from the days of the Singosari Kingdom, long before Surabaya became a city. an elected prince or Peneleh, son of Wisnuwadono, who was given the rank equivalent to a regent, received an area of authority in the area between the Pagirian River and Kalimas. Then the area was named Peneleh. The location of Peneleh and Plampitan is on a delta that divides two rivers that became the veins of ancient Surabaya. Strategically located in the river traffic during the time when land roads were not yet known to Japanese civilization. In Peneleh village, you can find relics of the national movement that have historical value. To the north of HOS Tjokroaminoto's house is the home of Soekarno's birth on Jalan Pandean Elivor number 40. This house confirms the confusing truth about the birthplace of the proclaimer of Indonesia. Not far from it, on Jalan Plampitan Alley 8 number 34 to 36 is the Warung Oma History, which is also the birthplace of Ruslan Abdul Ghani. The next figure is usually called Cak Rus, is the Secretary General of Asian African Conference, or known as KAA or Konferensi Asia Afrika in Bandung, as well as the Foreign Minister, the Indonesian Ambassador to the UN or United Nations, and also the first Chancellor of IKIP. He is an accomplished scholar and diplomat from Surabaya who is respected in Indonesia. The next site we are visiting is Jobong Well or Sumur Jobong. The discovery of Jobong Well in the City of Heroes opens a new veil of influence from Majapahit footprint. The triumph of Majapahit emphasized the central role of their culture in the formation of life in the lower reaches of the river. In one evening, the well, which is located in Pandean Alley 1, Surabaya, knit the historical faults in Surabaya. In a small alley, there is the Jobong Well, a remnant Majapahit's glory that still lingers in the city of Surabaya. The glory of the famous kingdom throughout the archipelago left some stories that are hard to forget in Surabaya, especially for Surabayans. On the cover of the well, it was also written that the Jobong Well is made of terracotta material. It is a material that is closely related to the glory of Majapahit in the past. Jobong wells like this are commonly found in settlement sites during Hindu-Buddhist era, especially in Trowulan area, which was the capital of Majapahit Kingdom. Inside the well, various pottery chunks of ceramics and bones that are found became an inseparable story. Jobong was also the source of people's lives at that time, when Surabaya was not seen as a settlement as humans could live in. The mayor of Surabaya, Tri Risma Harini, tried to open several documents resulting from the Trowulan team's study at Jobong Well. Several sheets were found to understand and confirm the existence of an old well that was already present in the Majapahit era. Risma said that there used to be a story that the city of Surabaya was called Ujung Galuh. With this historical evidence, it means that Surabaya was a city during the Majapahit era. Therefore, this historical evidence can become a protected site in area, so that later it can be used for tourism sector in Surabaya. So what do you think, year 7? I think it's still really important for everyone here to learn about history, which is a little bit overlooked sometimes. So hope you enjoyed the videos and the brief information given. Thank you and have a great experience with us. See you next time!